Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We have a special welcome for those that are here with Learning Bridge for the first time. We're so glad you've set aside an hour to learn more about our story and our outstanding work. Our mission values have taken us through some very exciting times and challenging times, but even pandemics do not change the essential work that we do and what it is that drives us. Our mission statement is that we are a community-based full-day preschool. Our mission is to strengthen families by providing a high-quality, affordable, full-day care and early education for their children. Our highest priority is to help children from all socioeconomic backgrounds gain the skills that they need to succeed in school while fostering shared community values of cooperation and respect for one another. We're very proud to be a Gold Circle Center in Illinois, in the Illinois Child Care Rating System. We were proud to be awarded the Award of Excellence a few years ago, and we see no reason why we should lower our standards now that COVID is with us. Tonight, we want to tell you a story, how we went from here to here, from being open and fully enrolled in the middle of March, to a 17-week closure, to this new normal. And maybe you will learn something from our friend Judith, who is going to show you how you wash your hands.
Can you teach your mom how you do that? How do you do that? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Between this side.
And then what do you do? Can you spray her shoes for her? Can you spray your mama's shoes like they'd spray your shoes?
And then my other foot too. Okay.
So that was Judith. She's 3. She knows how to wash her hands with hand sanitizer because she does it every morning when she comes to school. The Department of Children and Family Services told us to close on March 13th. It was a Friday. They suspended our license, and I'll be honest, I thought that we might be closed for maybe a month. Who knew? I knew, though, that I had to take care of my staff, our families, and the center. So I reassured the staff that we would pay them during close down. We have an amazing staff with great expertise who work very well together, and I did not want to lose that. With the shortage of teachers, of qualified teachers here in Illinois, I know that it can take months to find and train a teacher with the right qualifications and is the right fit for our center. We applied for the payroll protection program, and we were able to pay our staff during our 17-week close down. We started weekly Zoom meetings. Tuesdays was our staff meeting, and these were the times where staff could honestly express their concerns about returning to the classroom. We could we could address them as a whole team. We asked and answered a million questions. What will teachers wear in the classroom? Face masks or face shields? They chose masks. How do we provide meals? Our vendor, Gourmet Gorilla, provides individually wrapped meals for each child. What happens if somebody gets sick? Just like this morning, a little boy spiked a fever, and he went into our isolation room, which happens to be the room that I'm in now. He lies down, we take his temperature, his parents are called, and he goes straight home. He is now home for 72 hours. That means either symptoms will get worse and he will go to the doctors, or symptoms will get better and he will be able to return back to school. How do we take tuition payments? Everybody's on some kind of debit card or credit card right now. And who will be allowed in the building? Right now, it's just children and staff. How can we safely move around the building and the outdoor classroom? Well, we have 2 flights of stairs. One is for up, one is for down. And what about our ability to offer extended day? Unfortunately, that we cannot do anymore. At 5 o'clock, we start our cleaning and sanitizing of the toys so that everything's ready for the morning. We even had one staff meeting where I asked everyone to wear their masks for a whole hour. Most of us only wear masks when we go in and out of stores or when we're with friends. An hour is a long time to wear a mask, and this was such a different experience for everyone and something that we all had to adjust to. As we moved to reopening, we added another Thursday meeting to help us prepare to help children and families come back to school. We were concerned about the emotional and physical health of our children and families. We were aware that some had lost older family members. Nearly 70% of our low-income families either lost employment or were furloughed. The likelihood of this time being traumatic for children was high. As soon as I knew anything about reopening, I updated parents by email and on Facebook. Teachers were posting videos of activities and stories. And here's one, I love this collage of us all with our posters to tell the children that we were missing them. We were telling them that we missed going walks with them, we missed hugging them, we missed talking about art with them. That is most of our staff plus some of our volunteers in that photograph. So to connect with families, we found a free app. It was free to us, it's free to families, and it works on multiple platforms. Here's Miss Ann, our program and education manager, to talk about it.
Said we needed a way to connect with our parents, our families, our children, to make sure that they knew that we were still here thinking of them every single day. We used a variety of methods, and we found this app called Class Dojo, which thankfully was free for us and free for the children and very user-friendly. What we were able to do was to invite all of the children and families into their own classrooms. They could see and share videos with each other. The teachers planned activities to do at home. One classroom did a Find Anything Green this week. Children posted all the green things in their house. One child's video showed the different shades of green. One teacher asked the parents to show baby pictures, and the children could see the baby pictures of each other. So this was invaluable when we were closed. When we opened, we found out that this tool became invaluable also because it helped us transition a child from one classroom to a new classroom. They were able to see pictures of the friends that they were going to be with and pictures of their teachers as well. We've also used FaceTime for interviews with children and families before they start. They see faces and they see classroom spaces. So the day that they start school, they already know what to expect a little bit.
You know that when you've put something on Class Dojo, that you can see that the parents have opened.
Yes, and that's a big plus from just sending out an email, because when we send out an email, unless a parent responds with a question, even a red response doesn't mean that they've necessarily understood it. However, Class Dojo allows us, so each week I can put the menus up there. Ordinarily that menu would be on a classroom bulletin board, a parent would have come in and seen it. Now they're getting that online. We put a comment on there one week that the children really enjoyed the chicken salad, and I got several comments back from the parents saying, hey, my kid told me that he really loved lunch today. We've had parents, we've been able to tell a parent quickly and privately through this, because it's a closed circuit app, that their child had a fall at school and has a bump on their knee. When someone needs diapers, or if somebody needs different clothing, maybe the seasons have changed like now and maybe they need a jacket. Parents get this private message and we're finding that they respond almost immediately. Employers, I understand, like it as well, because it's not something that's long. It's not a phone call that needs to go through the company switchboard and then find the mom or dad at work and call them out. but they can see it on the app very, very quickly and efficiently.
So to reinstate, what do we have there? Oh, sorry. To reinstate our Department of Children and Family Services license, we had to submit a reopening plan. Mine was 22 pages long. It included all our new trainings on PPE, that's the protective gear, the new routines, the new protocols. There were waivers that staff and families had to sign, the parent information sheets, and a link to a video of how to check in.
Oops, one moment, please.
So we were able to change a fence into a gate. That's the one at the side of our building. We have a gate at the other end of our building, and families are able to drive their cars right through our property. They stop at the mulberry tree, which is where I am with Miss Ann and Mr. Paul. I'm the temperature taker. Miss Ann is the hand and feet washer, and Mr. Paul takes the children to the classroom. So 3 out of 5 of our classrooms have doors that open onto the outdoor classroom. So it's been very easy to keep those classrooms separate from everybody else. Jenny, are you putting the photographs on?
Were you able to see the morning drop off just now?
I didn't see it.
Rats. Let's try this again. Oh, I actually have to click share. Is that the idea? Here we go.
All right, so this is near the end of our morning. As you can see, many families come at around 5 to 9. They get their temperature taken. Miss Ann washes their hands and sprays their feet with rubbing alcohol. These are all the parents that are lined up, ready. Mr. Paul is taking Nia upstairs. Afterwards, we have to collect all our paperwork and take it inside, get the outdoor classroom ready for the first classroom that's going to come out for the day. That's the green room. Our house works very well for physical distancing children and adults. Our classrooms are combinations of 2 or 3 rooms, creating plenty of spaces for children to spread out. We're lucky to have lots of land for the children to run around. Now that bikes and balls are not allowed until we find an easy way to sanitize them, the teachers have come up with games and have used sidewalk chalk to design a course with actions to follow. And we have made that permanent, and we've made the Hopscotch design that they drew as well. And I believe we're going to see some of those photographs now. Yeah. Oh, there's the cat in the hat. This is so. Toys have to be washed and then sanitized. Sanitized is with a bleach solution, and then they have to air dry. That's where you see them. There is Desire wearing her mask. And this is one of my favorite mornings when I sat with Janelle and Devon, and we played on the drums. Miss Laura brought them out, put them on the milk crates, and we used chopsticks for the drumsticks. Once they were used, because the chopsticks got thrown away. But the kids had a great time with that. So our school calendar looks very different from past years. Gone are the ice cream socials, the day in the classroom night, and the other parent-teacher events. Parent-teacher conferences were mostly held by phone already and will be again. Since the stress factor is a lot higher now, I have made sure that staff get at least 1 3-day weekend a month. Now here is a video of Mr. Sam in the blue room. He's going to tell you what it's like teaching at this time. Welcome to the Blue Room. We have 15 children with 4 teachers in this classroom. One of them is Mr. Sam.
Hi guys.
How long have you been with us, Mr. Sam?
Here almost 5 years. Yeah, I've been a teacher for 12, but in early childhood and here for 5.
Right. And Mr. Sam is also our pre-K, one of our pre-K teachers, because the Blue Room is a preschool for all classroom. So let's talk about the differences now that COVID is with us.
Great.
You have with you a bag which each child has, right?
Yep. In fact, they're all over here. You can see each one has their own bag.
And what's inside?
So inside we have their books. So each week they get to choose 5, 6, or 7 books. Like these, we pull them all out. The reason that they're choosing their books now is because our library has actually been turned around. It was one of the favorite parts of the classroom that the kids can just go take their books at any time they want. But unfortunately, because of COVID, we just can't have that part be open. We can't clean the books all the time. So we created this new system where basically their bag is their books, their art, and some sensory too. So they got some Play-Doh in here. They have markers and crayons, stickers, things like that. And then the books. So this is sort of their, if they're not happy with some of the choices in the room, if they want to make some art, or if they want to have a little bit of alone time, they go to their personal bag.
Right. And I seem to remember Carter really enjoying that it was his bag.
Yep.
And they have a special place to put it, and that makes them happy.
Yeah, it was an interesting change actually. I kind of feel like they might be taking care of the books a little bit better than they ever used to be. I guess it's sort of that personal responsibility. They feel like it's theirs.
Right.
So that was an interesting change.
Fabulous. In front of me, I have what I know you told me is one of the kids' favorite toys, and it comes apart.
It does. Right? The number pops, yeah.
Okay, the number pops.
Indeed.
So once a child has played with this, what happens to it?
So when they're done, the big thing is that they let us know, or we kind of find that they're done, and we take it. We have to take everything apart for any of these. Like in this case, we take these 2 apart. We have to clean it with soapy water first, get that nice and dry, and then we have to sanitize it with bleach solution or some other proper cleaning solution. And then we either let that air dry, or we have to dry it thoroughly before we bring it back into the room. It's a pretty lengthy process, and to be honest, it's there's a lot of toys that they get to choose, so it can be a lot of cleaning,
right?
And a lot of sanitizing. The big thing is that we teach the kids all the new processes and the new procedures. So it's especially important that we don't miss any, and it's good that they let us know. Sometimes they say, hey, this has been played with, or hey, one of my friends forgot to let you know. That's a big part of our new sort of COVID safety guidelines is they're actually helping us to keep them safe.
Right.
The reality is we've come up with some very creative solutions, things like parallel play with our doll homes here having 2 instead of 1, so that they could, even though they're parallel playing, they could be close to each other to sort of keep that same social emotional connection. Specific lessons, whether it means tracing some rocks and laminating a piece of paper, it is possible. That's the thing that when people ask me, I tell them, yes, it is. There are more logistics. There's more tedious things to be done that are important, but it's possible to still have those teachable moments, and we do. And in a sense, there have been a lot of rewarding things that have come out of it, more rewarding than we would have expected. I mean, unique things that the kids are really enjoying, and I think that a lot of those positive aspects are going to be things that we can carry through COVID-19. So it's been good. It's been hard, but it's been good, and it helps to have a good supportive team in school. Yeah.
So you hear a little bit of the frustration of outstanding educators who find themselves spending hours washing and sanitizing toys instead of intentionally supporting each child's development. Everyone is focused on what needs to be done. All are working together as a team to make it happen and keep everybody safe. They're still committed, they're still here as teachers, and they work together so well and support each other. Our parents are essential workers, responsible for frontline cleaning and support. They have to go out to work. It's not an option. They have been able to work. They have to be able to work, having the confidence that their children are receiving the same care and attention wherever they are. Many of our teachers have young children at home or elders at home, and they are carrying the full responsibility of support for their families. Next is a conversation with a parent. This is Judith's mum, in fact, and she explains why it was important for her family to come back to childcare. I'd like to introduce you to one of our parents. Lauren Jones Robinson has had 2 children here. Warner has just graduated to kindergarten. Judith is still here. She's in the blue room with Mr. Sam. And Jacqueline is how old?
Jacqueline's in 2nd grade.
She's in 2nd grade now. Okay. So my first question is, how important was it for your children to come back to childcare?
Oh yeah. I would say really, really important. Warner, you know, we did the best we could during the shutdown, but it's really hard to have. So at that point they were 3, 5, and 7, and I was a student full time, so I had 4 classes that kept going, but childcare stopped, and so that was hard. And they were struggling to be home all day, every day, just with me. My husband's an essential worker, so he can't be home, so it was just stressful. So when we heard that Learning Bridge was reopening, I was thrilled, a little nervous, honestly, but just, you know, overwhelmingly, the idea was, even though there's some risk, like this is a good risk to take, it's a worthwhile risk to take. And then reading through, you sent such detailed documents of all of the precautions, all of the plans. Everything seemed very evidence-based. You know, here's what the research says, so we're going to do this and that. And yeah, it's been really good. Warner just started kindergarten, which unfortunately is not open, so he's doing the e-learning version. And I just think of kids who maybe haven't had preschool, for this to be their introduction to school. I mean, I think probably kids, you know, who haven't done preschool are at a deficit to begin with relative to their peers, but then certainly when this is what you get, you know, a 20-minute Zoom call in the morning, and that's sort of it. You know, the fact that Warner can already write so well, like you do a lot of, you know, the teacher will say, well, do this, and all she can do is really just, you know, verbally instruct you over the computer. She can't actually help. She can't show you how to write, you know, how to hold the writing utensils. Like it's such a limited kindergarten experience, and so I'm so grateful that at least he had a really, really, really strong preschool experience. And so now this transition into this kind of e-learning, while I still think it's obviously not as good as, you know, if he could actually be at school, he's still really well positioned. You know, he can do a lot of the work independently. He knows sort of what he's doing, and I'm just grateful for that.
Okay. So knowing that our rising kindergartners had lost so much time during the summer, we decided to stay open during our traditional summer closing. We took a couple of days off around the Labor Day holiday, and then we started our 2020-21 school year on September 9th. Before COVID, we had the capacity for 85 children from 2 to 5 years old. Now we are allowed 69 children, and at this time we have just over 50 enrolled. High quality daycare is an absolute essential part of recovery. Sustaining this work is an absolute requirement. The need for high quality full day preschool is important to our children so they can be prepared for lifelong learning. We know that we have been able to move the needle for so many of our children, and it's important that we continue to do this, even wearing a mask. We did everything in our power to open for our children and families who need childcare in the safest way possible. Before I end, I would like to give a huge thank you to some of the people that have donated to us It's been wonderful. Thank you very much. We've been able to adapt to our new norm, and particularly some community organizations that have helped us. In the greatest example of collaboration, the Evanston Community Foundation, Rotary, the Evanston Chamber of Commerce, and Northwestern, for their medical purchasing power, came together and purchased PPE for all the early childhood centers in Evanston. They brought us masks in the thousands, and gloves in the thousands, and foggers and hand sanitizer. It has really been a great help. So thank you to them. We did apply for the PPP loan and the childcare restoration grant. And I'm going to let Jenny let you know a little bit about the other gifts we have received that have helped us to get where we are right now. I'm going to send it over to you, Jenny.
Actually, Lindsay, I think you did a fantastic job with that list. I don't know if you all are aware that Illinois is the only state in the country that set aside funds received in the federal CARES package. Illinois set aside $420 million and has begun to distribute it to more than 4,000 preschools across the state. So we're very fortunate to have also received assistance through the Child Care Restoration Act. And this is also, you know, a result of the kind of advocacy that people do to speak up for the need for strong preschool. As Lauren mentioned, you know, you can't have economic recovery without it. So.
Absolutely. So does anyone have any questions of me? I've given you a lot of information, but is there anything that you would like to ask?
Yeah.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, Lindsay, I just wonder, the day off once a month that the teachers get, is that like a day off goodbye, we don't see you, or is it an institute day, like without kids? I mean, they don't come.
Well, yeah, so we cannot have all staff meetings all in the same place. So we have Zoom meetings, and we do try and keep them to an hour or less, because I know, as someone who's been on longer Zoom meetings, your head starts to explode. So some of those will have a Zoom meeting at about between 10 and 11 o'clock, and then the rest of the day is theirs.
Right, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So they literally have the day off.
So they have the day off.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
It also helps us because, you know, we've kept our full staff even though we have less children. And that's because if somebody is off for whatever reason, we can, you know, use the staff that we have. And we've also asked, you know, we've given these days off so that staff can have their doctor's appointments, their dentist appointments, go and see a friend or whatever it is that they want to do, so that then they're not using as much of their PPO, their paid time off, and we get to, you know, have a full complement of staff on the days we're open.
I'm just going to tag on to that, Lindsay, because people may not be aware that you also, as the executive director, chose to stay open through the whole month of August, which is usually a time when, you know, we're usually closed for the last 2 weeks of August.
Yes,
or so.
We decided that, you know, the children that were going to go to kindergarten had lost 17 weeks of school. You know, the parents were just starting to come back. The parents that were furloughed were now having work and needed to work. So to close the last 2 weeks of August would have been very disruptive for everybody. So instead, we took a couple of days around Labor Day and then started the new year, our new year, September 9th. Yes, Bob.
Lindsay, with a capacity of about 69 children, and 50 there now, how challenging does it look like it's going to be to increase enrollment up to what we can possibly have?
We're getting new children every day. We're some employers have, promised for parents to go back, but there's been some delays. As soon as parents are back at work, they come back to us. We held a space for a little boy who was coming from Israel, and he's with us now. And as I said, we have plans for
There's our beautiful.
That's our
Can you
beautiful.
see that?
Looks
So
great.
we're enrolling now. Okay, thank you, Jen. As what usually happens for us is some other agencies have their children until they are 3, but do not have the capacity to take children from 3 to 5. So then they come to us when they age out of the other program. So they are entering our program all the time. We're doing it slowly, as the staff is getting used to all the protocols and what we're doing, we can bring more children in. It's been a nice start, having it so that we don't have so many children, and then bringing more children in. The childcare assistance program is also right now, this month, they can do it until the end of October. They are paying us for the full capacity of the children that receive the CCAP program. So let's say out of the 69, that 50 are receiving the subsidy from the childcare assistance program. Then they will pay us for the whole 50, even if we don't have 50 with us at this time. Illinois has been very supportive of childcare, even though there are still issues with the childcare assistance program. They've been trying to find money as much as they can in their budget.
Is the coach house open?
The coach
Montessori
house is open, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is. And that's one of the, so for those that don't know, our coach house is a separate classroom. It's a 2-story hybrid of Montessori and play-based learning. And it opens up into our playground, just like the yellow room does and the blue room. So when a child comes in and we've checked their temperature and washed their hands, etc., they're able to walk directly into their classrooms. And then for the orange room, the parents are able to pick up as they usually do, but they're just not allowed in the building. I realize that it's very frustrating for parents, particularly new parents that don't know, our classrooms, haven't been able to really have a good sit down with their teachers. But I have been absolutely blown away by how wonderful the brand new children to our center have adapted. They've come in wearing their masks. They've gone off with Mr. Paul or Miss Anne. Yes, there's been tears, but it very little. I have been really, really surprised. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Lindsay, if I can ask. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, one of the things that I found so interesting, even though I've been knowledgeable about so much that you've done is hadn't thought of kind of the old cliche that you've made lemon out of lemonade, that here in this negative situation, as your teacher talked about, there's been positives. The children have become more responsible. They've bought into this. And I know there was a little child who lives in my building that goes to Learning Bridge. And I saw her in the laundry room and she was telling me about how she wears her mask to be safe at 3 years old, and how she twirled around with her arms out for social distance, and how involved the parents were. Do you see other things that, like new opportunities in a weird way, that this has brought you and the staff and the families?
I think the games that we've started outside, the obstacle course that we did, it's one of those, jump 5 times, walk along a line, skip here, skip there, turn around 5 times, and go around, and then at the end you dance. And the children they'll do it themselves without the teachers reminding them what they have to do. They start at the line, they do all the actions, and it's been great. And they've all learned hopscotch. We were talking in one of the classrooms, one of the teaching assistants said, well, what about hopscotch? And Mr. Sam, who you've now met, doesn't know how to play hopscotch. So they had to teach him and the children how to do it. And the children can do it just like that. They picked it up. They think that it's great. They decorate stones that they can use outside. And, they use even the little gravel that we have in one area of the playground has sort of become this sandbox. It's a place that they can take their own individual stones, and they all make patterns with them. What they say about the mother of invention, the children have just been amazing at what they can find. Bugs, leaves. And then another thing that's happened, because we don't have the children running on the areas that have woodchip, because that's the area that has the swings or the area that has the climbing frame, anything that has been buried underneath there by maybe one of our friendly squirrels, like a black walnut, that they have already sort of chewed, but the seed is still there. Well, they're starting to grow up in the woodchip, because the children aren't running and knocking these off. And Jenny and I were pulling stuff up, and we found that you could still see the black walnut and how the seed grows with the root going down and the plant coming up. And I've shared that photograph with the children. Jenny tried to grow one, but she killed it off.
I'm going to change that subject pretty quick.
Okay. Oh, there's Reggie.
Here's some of our littles with their...
And you see, that's the downstairs, and this is Smiler. This is my friend Devon. And he's using his own Play-Doh, which he will then put away and keep in his special place in the purple room.
These guys are off to kindergarten now. These are
the twins. So these masks and Devon's masks were made by the Evanston Sewers. I asked them for some children's size masks, which they delivered to my doorstep, which was fabulous. Here's Peyton, who is modeling the cow mask. That's what the children call it, because it does look like cow fabric. And And of course, the twins before this had to have matching masks every time. And they look fabulous.
How's Mr. Sam doing with his hopscotch work?
He's doing okay. He's getting better at it. He's definitely getting better at it. At one point, they had 2 hopscotches going at the same time, and the teachers were competing with the game.
I think it was notable, Ellen, in Mr. Sam's video, that the kids are being more, what happens in this? Well, the kids are being more respectful of books.
Right.
He also said they start not telling on one another, but going, oh, you forgot to wash your hand, or starting, oh, I think that was touched by Joshua or whatever, which is like very helpful. It's
And they're buying into it and feeling part of it.
Yeah.
It's remarkable. Yeah, it's created, it sounds like some maturity in some ways. Like you say, Lindsay, necessity is the mother of invention. Between new games and the children becoming more aware of things.
Kids want to please adults. Yeah. So it's like, I don't want to admit that.
Everyone's in this together. We're all doing this. All the parents are wearing masks. All the staff are wearing masks.
And the parents have to be
talking
more
about
involved.
Cleaning and the children have been fabulous. I was in a classroom this afternoon and needed to clean a table, and I was spraying with soapy water. And the next thing, I have 3 children behind me. They've each got a paper towel, and they're ready to dry off the table for me. Mm-hmm. So, they are really getting to know these routines and still being able to be with their friends, which I think is the most important thing. Mm-hmm. And as I said, everyone's in this together. So you can't say, well, so-and-so gets to do something and I can't. No, we're all in this together. There's only one rule, and that's it. And the children have been absolutely fabulous.
Mm-hmm. I always, am I on? Let me see.
Yep.
Yeah. I always, I adore children, but I really love dogs too. And I'm always like, can I pet them? And are they thinking, why am I wearing this? And I don't see that same response in my grandchildren or my niece and nephew, the ones that I have seen. I mean, and yet that they're weirded out by this.
Right.
And yet, did you mention, because I came in late, about the pictures, that you all have your own pictures? So the kids, I don't know if they even need that.
Yeah.
I don't know if they need it. I need it,
Oh, yes. So I wear a button. All the staff wear buttons with photographs of themselves without a mask.
Yeah.
And so the first thing I say to new children is, here's my button. This is what I look like without a mask. Sweet. And I'm a runner every other day. That means that at the end of the day, after nap, between 3 and 5, I'm the one that goes and gets children and takes them out to their parents. And when the children are coming down the stairs, there are several of them that will point to my button and say, that's what you look like without a mask. I mean, they're priceless. So if we have no more questions, I am going to thank you very, very much for your time. This has been a lot of fun. Really, I've enjoyed this. So I just say thank you. Is there anything else, Jenny?
In the next couple of days, I'll send you an email. I'd love for everybody who's just here for the first time to take a look at our annual report. It talks a little bit about the very important ways that we assess and measure our children's progress toward kindergarten readiness. We're one of the only preschools in the area that takes this as seriously as we do, and that has these this strong ability to measure outcomes. We're trying to understand how we will be able to do that in the coming year, but we know that what we do works, and we'd like you to be able to take a look at that. And we're also going to send you a Action for Children link if you feel like acting on behalf of early childhood education. There's a lot of legislative bills going forward. We're very lucky to be in Illinois, as we've noted, but it never hurts to put in a good, friendly word with your local legislator.
Right.
So you'll be getting that hopefully in the next few days. Yeah. Yeah.
They hear from me all the time. So they need to hear from some new voices.
I would just like to say, as a board member, as you see, I just typed it in. If everybody, heard this and could invite one more person or another person, this was lovely. And, I don't know how we shout it from the mountains, but this should be known about us and this community that we live in. That's so, bring a friend.
So
Lindsay?
Jenny, what are the other times?
I'm sorry, Holly, did you want to say something?
Sorry, Holly.
Yeah, thanks, Jenny. Yeah, if I could just squeeze in a word, I am here simply as an onlooker, but a member of Rotary and a good friend of Mary Watts over the years. And I'm also a parent of someone who's gone through preschool education down in Hyde Park, Unitarian Preschool Center. So I'm a great advocate of what you do. And I very much enjoyed all that you've presented today. So I really have a much better sense of Learning Bridge. And I'd like to get another group of women that I'm involved in helping you.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
We are doing this event 2 more times.
Saturday,
I know Saturday morning, and then the 30th of September. Am I right, Jenny? I don't have it written down in front of me.
I have
Yes, this Saturday, the 26th and the 30th. Yes.
right.
So-
Do we know what time? I have
Holly,
it.
please.
Yes.
down.
Yeah.
Saturday at 11 and
Okay.
next Wednesday at 10. And we'll be very happy to reprise this again. We did have a mom on the phone, Rebecca, if you saw Rebecca Dawar. And Lindsay, she's also kind of saying it would be great to get a group of parents together for the same
think we can, yes.
So
I would
we'll
love to.
be, we've got a dog and pony show now. We'll be happy to take it wherever we can. That's right. So,
Well,
Okay.
thank you.
and thank you, Holly. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much, everybody.
Great.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.